Hi, this is Susan Proper with Susan Gets Social. My guest today is going to be Beth Morgan. She's coming to me from the UK. She's just back from a beautiful vacation in Portugal. So she's sent me the request. Here she comes. She's about to join. And I'm really excited to have her. There she is.
Hello.
Hello. So nice to see you. Look at you all bright and shiny from your trip in Portugal.
I know, I was very lucky. Very, very lucky to get away.
The beaches look so gorgeous.
I know it was lovely, but it was still a little bit strange. They're actually quite a bit stricter, I felt, over there than they are in the UK with the masks and stuff. You couldn't go into any building without a mask because I think the restaurants and the cafes there get fined themselves if their customers aren't wearing masks inside. So they much stricter, I felt, over there than they are here at the moment.
Okay.
So even if you're using a toilet to walk through a restaurant, you have to put the mask on, which is good. No, it's good.
Yeah. I find that in a lot of places, actually here in the US as well. My husband and I just did a road trip with our three dogs from Florida to Mount Rushmore. And some places were very, very strict also. Just to go to the restroom, you had to wear the mask, which was kind of weird. But then other places, nobody was wearing a mask at all. Nobody anywhere was wearing a mask. So it kind of depended upon where you were. But yeah. Well,
I did it.
Welcome back. So nice
Thank
to talk
you.
with you. My fellow Yinster. Yes, my fellow Yinster. So,
I love it.
yeah, for those of you who may be new to me and to Beth, who may be watching here today, both of us love Yin Yoga. And if you need to know more about Yin Yoga, please reach out to either Beth or to me, and we would be happy to talk with you about Yin Yoga and the benefits of it, and how you should definitely add that into your yoga practice. But really what I wanted to talk with you about today, Beth, since we know each other a little bit, and I think I've known you for maybe about a year, actually, I'm not quite sure. But I wanted to talk with you, quite honestly, since I've known you through a couple of Facebook groups, but I don't know how you got into teaching this combination that you do of Yin, Hatha, and Pilates also, because your handle is
Yogalates. Yeah.
Yogalates. So can you explain how that happened?
Yeah, actually, I'm teaching my first Yogalates and Yin combo class this Saturday because I've never actually done that before. I've always separated the two things. So my students would either come and they would come to Yogalates classes, which would be a mix of Hatha yoga and Pilates, or they would come to my mini retreat events. The thing is, with Yin, I absolutely adore it, but I felt very much that students want to be supported by a lot of props with it. So with my classes, I would usually take equipment around to halls and I would teach Yogalates with blocks and straps and resistance bands, and everyone would have to bring their own mat, but I would bring loads of props. And the problem I felt with Yin was, for me, especially I have a lot of older clients, older students, people who, not necessarily just older people, but people with mobility restrictions and certain problems. Doing Yin without a bolster to me, or some kind of support that would replace a bolster, felt borderline unsafe. And there were certain things you could do, but there was certainly a lot of things that we couldn't do without those kind of props. So for me, I felt with teaching in halls, it wasn't really possible for me to teach a regular Yin class. So I would run twice monthly mini retreats, and I would bring bolsters myself, as well as blocks and all the blankets and everything, so that students could feel they have all the support they need, because you must feel this as well.
Yes.
It's about having that support nearby so the body can let go. I love this line about Yin, with if the bones feel supported, the muscles can relax. And quite often, sometimes we'll see someone in a Yin pose who won't be using support they need, and they're sort of, you could see them struggling 2 minutes in,
Yes.
and they're shaking, and there's that going on. So for me, it wasn't possible for me to run a regular yin class. However, now, um, since lockdown, it's been interesting because I've been teaching these mini retreat events online, which is something I never did before. People can use stuff around the house, and it's just perfect,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So actually, weirdly enough, I'm now teaching a regular yin class online, whereas I always wanted to do that before, but it just never seemed possible without all the props. So that's just been an absolute gift that's come out of lockdown, is this realization that I can actually share more yin with people now that they can use sofa cushions. You know, they can use, I like this kind of, if you're in, you know, dragon pose with like the lunge, if you're using like cans underneath the hands or Tupperware boxes or something, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
or
yeah.
like cushions around the house. And I'm kind of teaching people to make their own bolster with folded pillows that you wrap up
Oh,
into
awesome.
tightly
Yeah.
into a blanket. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
so funny. It's funny that you're talking about this, and I hate to interrupt you, but you're
no.
actually leading into one of my next questions, and that is, what have you discovered during these last few months that has, you know, sort of like changed your business? And you're talking about that right now, and that's just so awesome.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest changes. I think a lot of my students have been surprised, particularly because I teach a lot of older people who felt a little bit more nervous about using something like Zoom. A lot of them didn't know how to use it, and I think it's been a great journey for so many of my students, realizing that it's actually very easy to use, and it's actually quite easy for them to practice at home. You know, they don't need to travel anywhere. They've got it all there, and they can. I was only speaking to a student today who turned up at my door, funny enough, we were having a little chat, and she was saying how she likes to lock herself away in a room, and she tells her husband and her son that absolutely she can't be disturbed, and that's her space and that's her time.
Right.
um, and I love that, you know, people are getting into this more, actually being able to create a sort of space at home for themselves to access these practices. Yeah, and whether that's a slower yin practice, really floor based. And I absolutely love yin. Sorry, to go back to your previous question about Yogalates, I'm very, the reason I got into Yogalates was I was an actress for 10 years. So I actually, in terms of the yoga side of things, I actually did a lot of that sort of thing training as an actor anyway. So we would do guided visualizations, relaxations. We would work with our bodies and our breath in many ways. So even though I didn't do so much yoga in my early 20s, my late teens, I knew a lot of those practices anyway. I did a bit of yoga here and there, but I was really interested in Pilates actually more than anything else. For me and my body, I'm quite accident prone generally. Like, I'm quite clumsy. That's just how I am. And I think the Pilates really, I always felt very balanced. I felt very coordinated coming out of a Pilates class. You know, it made me feel really tall and lean and controlled. And I really love the stability and that kind of, yeah, that balance you get, that kind of harmony you get on a muscular level with it. For me, I found that really interesting, the kind of how it targets certain muscles and tries to rebalance muscles that might have got a little bit weak, and other muscles that might have got a little bit tight, and how to create more balance. And I just always felt like I was sort of walking on air, and I've always felt really great after coming out of a Pilates class. So I actually wanted to be a Pilates teacher first. And because I was an actor, I worked as an actor, I sort of always put it off. And then when I worked as an actor in Venice 10 years ago, almost like now 10 years ago is when we were there, funnily enough, me and my other friend, Emma Deary, who's also a fabulous yoga teacher herself now. And she introduced me to Yogalates. She had a DVD, and she said, you should try this, because we couldn't do any other classes while we were on tour. Obviously, going to the gym in Italy requires you to speak Italian, and I didn't. So I would do these practices at home, and I fell in love with it. And then I was lucky enough to meet the founder of Yogalates in Australia when I was traveling there a few years later, and I was pretty obsessed with it by that point. I loved this dynamic combo. I loved how yoga made me feel, and I loved what my body got out of Pilates. And so for me, it just made sense to combine the two. And then I met her, and then it just all fell into place. And I remember someone saying to me, if you don't do it, you'll always regret it. Because I was putting it off, saying it's not the right time, or what if my acting career takes off? But actually, I was so glad I did. It changed everything. It was a bit of a wake up call for me. I fell in love with doing that, and then the acting kind of gradually fell away. But yeah.
Wow, what a story. That's so interesting. You know, I have never taken a yoga Pilates class. I think I need to sign up for one of your classes.
Definitely come
Yeah,
along.
I should. Now's the perfect time when everybody's doing Zoom classes. You can just take advantage of everything worldwide. I need to do that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
shall.
absolutely.
I
There's
shall.
so much out there, isn't there?
Yeah, there absolutely is. So, I know we both do yoga retreats, and I think you're probably more. Well, I don't know if I should use the word experience, but you probably have had several more successes, let's just say, than I have. And you've got retreats coming up in France. You've had something. I forget where else, but anyhow, I've been to Italy and Mexico with retreats. But what 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 do you see for the future of retreats? And I know that's not exactly on our list of things that we wanted to talk about today, but it just with this whole being in lockdown and not being able to travel, and I'm a travel bug, and I'm sure you are too. um, what do you see? How does that affect your business?
Good question.
Yeah, and I don't mean to throw you off, and I know
No.
you've got a retreat coming up next year, right?
Yeah, in May.
Yeah, and one of the things that I did want to talk to you about is what are your plans? What have you got coming up that listeners may want to know about? And I'm sure that's one of them. But while we're kind of talking about what people may want to know about what you've got coming up, what do you think about the future of retreats in our line of business?
Yeah, I mean, mm,
It's a toughie,
I
isn't it?
don't think I don't think the need for retreats has gone away. In fact, I would say it's increased. I usually go away to at least two retreats a year. Like that's always something I try and make time for myself
Yeah.
because it it's like I love it, and that's why I love doing the mini retreats, because it's like it's a little pocket of that. And
Hmm.
actually, I mean, the thing is, going away for a long retreat, what I often find is I arrive kind of depleted and I leave feeling fantastic.
Yeah.
What I think we would benefit from getting into the habit of is doing more often and shorter retreats. So trying to schedule retreat time in for ourselves more regularly
Okay.
and shorter pockets of those times. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I just don't think we can rely on anything at the moment. Well, I love going away on retreat. I love traveling, and I definitely think that that is in our future. And as you said, I'm running a retreat in the south of France in May next year. So that was supposed to be in May this year, and it was obviously cancelled. But we've postponed to next year, so that's going ahead, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I think what I've realized is, especially at the moment, we need these little escapes more than ever. And if we can't get away, we need to find other ways of finding that time for ourselves, whether that be like a 5 or 10 minute daily meditation, sitting down every day, making that time for yourself
Yeah.
just to reconnect, or
Yeah.
whether it's investing in some sort of yin or whatever floats your boat. I mean, I love doing yoga nidra. That's partly what I do in my mini retreats as well. I do yin and yoga nidra. It's a combination. So you do these yin poses and then you finish with a 30-minute guided meditation. And I love yoga nidra. For me, it's just, it can be a lifesaver, that hypnagogic state between sleep and waking.
Yeah.
And I love, what they say about, for 45 minutes of yoga nidra is equivalent to 4 hours sleep in terms of what it does in renewing your brain. So your brain and your body, you can experience deep rest that way, and through yin as well. And so I think there's loads of different ways. And really, that's the tip of the iceberg. There are wonderful yoga practitioners around the world who are doing other things that are equally as incredible in different ways. But finding these little pockets of rest. I don't know about you, but what got me into doing yin was realizing that I'm very Vata. So if you're looking at it from Ayurvedic point of view, and I'm very type A as well. I'm very type A. I'm very driven. I'm very active. I'm very goal orientated. I've got to be busy doing this and that. And it's like I often feel like, yin is perfect for type A's. Like for everyone, really, everyone benefits. But
Yeah.
if you're that way inclined, and you have this temptation to burn yourself out or overwork, meditation and yin practices and anything like this that can help balance your nervous system and help you feel a little bit more settled. Um, we need this more than ever. I don't know if you've noticed, but like since phones and technology have become such a massive part of our lives,
Yes.
it's completely changed. I feel, this word burnout is being thrown around all over the place, and I just feel like people are needing this more. One of my teachers, my yin teacher, Norman Blair, would say, the world is very yang orientated these days. So this
Oh,
balance of yin
absolutely.
and yang, we
Yeah.
need more of this yin. And so I love Yogalates, and I feel I need it. My body certainly needs to move and to feel balanced in that way, and to be working the muscles and to stay healthy, but also balancing that out with more stillness, more quiet,
Right.
and more time for reflection. It's
Yeah.
so essential, and we often
Yeah.
don't give ourselves time for it, right? I don't know about
No.
you, but we'll give ourselves time on the mat to move, but
No, and I think also most people when they first are interested in yoga, they're interested in the movement. They're interested in the warrior poses, and they want that. A lot of people think they're interested in building muscle or losing weight or sweating. They never think of the yin part of yoga,
well,
and
often people skip shavasana, don't they? People often skip that last bit at the end.
exactly.
But,
And it's so funny because when I first went to yoga, my first yoga class, shavasana is what hooked me. I was like, oh
yeah,
my
me
god,
too.
this is so for me. And then a couple of classes later, I went to a yin class, never having heard of yin at all. And I thought, oh my God, I have found heaven. This is exactly what I need, because I am such a type A personality. I am all those cliches you just talked about. I am burnout. I am this. I am all of it. I am hooked to my computer. I mean, I could be on my computer 10 hours a day, working on this and trying to catch up with that. And I am so all of it. And um, that whole need excuse me, for yin and meditation and slowing down and stillness is what I crave, and it's what my mind craves and what my spirit and soul craved. And I never knew it until I found a yin class, and then I was just hooked. And that's why I started to learn more about yin and go for my yin certification, and just began teaching it once I got certified. And it was just like, oh, I am never looking back. And same with yoga nidra. I got certified in yoga nidra for the same reason. It was just, it was like the magic elixir for me. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
I've been quite amazed about how much that's in, how many more students I've had coming to me for stuff like that since
Yeah.
the pandemic started. I mean, it
Oh,
makes sense.
yeah, totally.
Because I mean, apart from everything else, all the stresses, we're on our phones much more. We're on our devices much more. We're taking in all of this news, and it's stressful,
Yes.
and it's hard to disconnect from our phones, especially now. We're practicing. Obviously, we need our phones and our computers if we're going to be practicing online classes with our teachers and stuff, and that is unfortunately one part of it, really.
Yeah.
But it's it's a lot to take in, and it is overwhelming. That's why sometimes when I'm doing classes, I don't know about you, Susan, but like when I'm doing another teacher's class now, I quite like to have my camera off, because for my brain, it helps me disconnect and be able to come into my center more. I think there's something that happens when you're doing a Zoom call with someone. Your brain often can't. I read an article about how it stresses the brain to do one-to-one Zoom calls. And how it's very tiring because your brain's trying to take in all of the information and they can't see the whole person, and trying to read what's happening.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's
It
tiring.
it is a distraction, because you like, I'm looking at you, but I'm seeing that brass whatever hinge thing.
It's my door handle.
Yeah, okay, so it is totally distraction, and I'm not saying that I don't want to see that, but there are things to look at, or like around me. I've got, oh my God, I've got the couch, I've got the bamboo, I've got all that
You've got a nice
stuff.
setup there, Susan. You've got a lovely setup. I
So
like it.
but it's very, very true. Our brain never stops taking in all these details. So yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, and
Well,
I think to be able to take that time away from our phones and to reconnect, you know, I
yeah,
think we all need it more than ever at the moment. Yeah.
yeah, it's so, so true. So I don't want to keep you much longer, but I just want to get back to uh, what you've got going on and how people can reach out to you. So I know your handle on Instagram is at Yogalates.
Yeah,
Say it again.
Yogalates London. Yeah,
London.
Yogalates London. Yeah,
And
all one word.
your Facebook page?
Same. So
Same.
I was quite lucky to get that URL a few years ago. So
Okay,
when I
so
started teaching about 6 years ago, gosh, it's yeah, 6 years ago. My friend said, have you searched for the you know URL Yogalates London? And I thought, well, I can't be Yogalates London, can I? It turns out I can.
okay, so you've got it all. Your
So I've got
website,
Yogalates
everything.
London, yeah. So
Okay.
that's my website and that's my Facebook and everything. It's super
Okay, perfect.
simple. Yeah.
Perfect. So
And
people can reach out to you there or DM you on
yeah,
your Instagram and everything. So let's
it's a
talk about
busy.
new projects. You've got this retreat coming up in May, and what have you got coming up, or what have you working on right now that people need to know about?
So this is a busy week actually. I got back from Portugal last night and I'm sort of straight on it with the work because we're launching new online term on Monday, this
Oh,
Monday. So the start of my online term. So at the beginning of lockdown, I was teaching just a couple of classes a week, and then over the summer, I realized my students wanted more and more variety and more different classes, and they wanted a yin class. So I'm now teaching 6 classes a week, which I'm really excited about online, and that's going to be so you've got a yoga Pilates class followed by a yin on a Monday night, which I think has been quite a popular combination. And then Tuesday morning before work class, it's different time zone where you are obviously, so this can be a bit different timings, but um, there's like 4 yoga Pilates classes a week. I'm also doing a gentle yoga Pilates this time because I feel like there's a lot of my students who are craving a little bit more of a gentle approach. And then I'm teaching a Sunday morning yoga class, just hatha class, which has been really popular as well. So a lot of my classes I try to make them as inclusive as possible. And with the Zoom, I like to be able to see what students are doing. So if they want their video and if they want feedback, they can get it. They just have to kind of position their camera a little bit further back so I can see them. But
right.
that's worked really well in making them more interactive. You know, so they're not just live classes, but I feel like there's an interaction with the students going on as well, which seems to be, and you know, we're all craving a bit of community these days. So I feel like I've loved that. You know, when we were in lockdown here in London, we weren't allowed to go out for more than 30 minutes a day, and to be able to turn my camera on, my computer on, and to see my students and to have that interaction was so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. It really like saved me, I would say. And so that's coming up starting on Monday, and 12-week online term, and then people can tune into as many classes they want to in the week, and then there'll be a bunch, or about half the classes will be recorded every week. So there'll be like an online hub where they can access
Oh, good.
3 classes a week at least, so they can go and catch some replays as well, which I think has
Excellent.
worked quite well as well.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
you know, you can tune in live or you can catch the replays. And then as well as that, I'm doing my mini retreats. As I told you, my online mini retreats, which have been really popular. I'm running one online on Saturday, the 3rd of October in the afternoon here in the UK. So that's 3 o'clock. So that would be, I guess, 10 a.m. your time.
Yes.
So 3 p.m. till 5. And that is a 2-hour, as I said, yin yoga nidra combo. And it's going to be on the hips, the next one. So it's yin yoga for happy hips, which I think was really popular last time. So I'm running that again. And I've got my retreat in France in next May, obviously, in the south of France near Carcassonne, which is absolutely beautiful,
Oh, I
beautiful
love
venue.
Carcassonne. Oh my God, I
Yeah.
love that area.
You should come, Susan. I'd
Oh, and
love
that
that.
venue looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
stunning. We went and visited it last summer, and last summer, and it was just perfect. And there's such a lovely British couple who bought it and have renovated it beautifully with their
Oh
2
my
young
God.
kids. It's really lovely. And what else? Oh gosh, there's so much at the moment. I'm launching a Yoga Pilates for back care course, which I've just filmed. I've been in production with this last few weeks before I went to Portugal. So we've just finished filming that, and that is an online series, not live but recorded. People can buy the course fairly cheaply and can do the series of videos focusing on helping you not just with core stability. Of course, we know that's a really important thing with back care, but also incorporating yoga techniques and and yin yoga. There's a yin class in there as well, because actually I feel yin is a really powerful technique for back care. You know, as long as you're practicing with care and caution, as well as restorative yoga. So I want to encourage people not just to think about Pilates for back care, but also the restorative benefits of yoga. When I had a back problem many years ago, I actually felt that actually the stress relieving aspect of restorative yoga, finding restorative yoga poses and yin practices, really helped me actually recover from the back issue. You know, a lot of it was a non-specific lower back problem, as is so common for people, and actually just gentle stretching and understanding how to relax the nervous system and relax the psoas, which is the hip flexor at the front, you know, which can contract when you're stressed. And you know, if you're sitting a lot and you're all stressed, that's going to stay stressed. It's going to pull the lower back forward. So it's things like that I'm really passionate about that, helping people stay pain-free and mobile in their bodies. So that's coming soon in the next few weeks. And then if anyone actually is interested in working with me, I would say DM me and I can send you a free yoga nidra. So I've just set this up recently. I've done a recording of a yoga nidra that people can get for free. So if you'd like that, then do DM me and I will shoot it over to you so that you've got that. If you like the sound of my voice. Because it's all about that, isn't it? Do you think, Susan, like
Yes.
finding someone whose voice you like with yoga nidra makes a huge difference. So I actually got a yoga nidra recording from a retreat I was on in New Zealand like 10 years ago, and the guy was so soothing, and they gave me a CD at the end, and I just listened to that. You know, that's my yoga nidra, and I do it. And there are other ones obviously I practice as well, but it's finding one that resonates with you.
I totally get that. Yeah, you're right about that. Wow, you have got a lot going on. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome.
How are things going with you? What have you got coming up at the moment?
Well, I just launched my new podcast, Women Inspired to Wellness.
So exciting.
Yes, we are live right now. Well, it's on my website, of course, which is susanproperyoga. And it's live on SoundCloud, Spotify, and today it will be live on Apple Podcasts. So yes, it's launched. Wow, so exciting! That was boy, that was a labor of love, let me tell you. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. So
I hope you're celebrating tonight. Are you doing anything nice?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a couple of G&Ts on that one.
Lovely.
But it was great, and I've got some really good guests lined up to come on, and yeah. So that was good. And of course, I've got my coaching packages. I've got a 90-minute coaching package on my website, holistic life coaching package, and a 3-month coaching package on my website. And life is good. I'm keeping busy, and I am on hiatus right now from my Gift of Stillness online yoga retreat, but that will come back eventually, and we'll see where we go from there. But I'm hoping to do a retreat also next year. I'm looking at Costa Brava, Spain.
Oh, nice.
I know a woman there that has a beautiful retreat space. And we'll see. We'll see where else. I'm hoping to do 2, but you know, it really all depends what goes on in this world.
I have to say, I you know, after what I said about retreats, I love to travel, and you know, getting away to Portugal was just heaven. I think for me, because I'm in London, I just forget how healing being by the sea is.
Yes.
You know, just being by the sea, not just. I mean, I love to throw myself in the sea and really just get in and fully get in, which I did plenty of in Portugal. But I don't live by the sea here, and so actually having the opportunity to get away and be with nature, whether that's by the sea or not, is so healing. And actually, I hope, you know, I hope that we're all going to be traveling and doing retreats just like normal next year.
I do too. I so agree with you that getting away from your daily stressors, your daily routines, and breaking that pattern is very important. To just step back and take a look, a fresh look, a new perspective. It allows you to create new patterns. It allows you to look at look at old patterns from a new perspective and say, why am I doing that? Why was I doing that? And create new paths in your life. And you cannot do that necessarily as easily from your living room or your bedroom or your dining room table. Sometimes
Absolutely.
you need to be in a by the sea. You need to be on a hiking trail. You need to be away, and sometimes you need to be in the comfort of a woman's circle, a group of loving, like-minded women who you can share openly and freely with. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Susan.
Mm.
This has been so lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that we did this. And don't forget, you can reach out to Beth on her Instagram. Just DM her. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me. It was lovely. And I'm glad that we have reconnected. And I will see you on Facebook shortly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan. Take good care.
Thanks, you too.
And we'll speak soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.